Hello, and welcome to episode 9 of Rough Around the Edges, brought to you by Roughneck Games. I am Joe, and with me are Jarv.
Hello.
And Dane.
Hey.
Hello.
Sans Dan today.
So, Sansdan?
Is it Sans?
Sansdan.
Hemi Sansdan. Anyways,
I thought it was Sans.
Sans.
Sans?
Comic Sans.
I'm not entirely sure.
Talking
actually.
fonts today.
Do we have a linguist in the building?
Cunning linguist. So today, we were talking about retro games today, so I think we should bring that up in the podcast.
Yeah, retro is always fun.
So,
always on the mind.
I
The
think
past.
just to put this in a frame of reference, when we're talking retro games, I think for this, the intent of the podcast, we should lay down some ground rules on what is and what isn't retro. So I'm just going to go and say N64 and prior. So obviously,
N64 is cutting edge.
State of the
Compared to
art
the retro.
graphics.
it was once cutting edge.
Never
We're
had a
born with.
better joystick in my life.
Never had a more intuitive play.
It actually was a really nice controller.
Yeah.
Initial comment there.
Yeah, it was when you had to move your hand to get between three different grabbing
You guys didn't
points.
like it? I liked it.
No, I was fine with it.
I thought
I was
awesome.
really annoyed with it for a while, and then
I think it had a
kinda
trigger
used to
on it. You kidding me?
Well,
Yeah.
only if your hand was in the middle.
Yeah.
But then if you want to move
I
off
have
and
big
use
hands,
D-pad,
so
yeah.
I can
I guess if you
figure that
contort-
out.
For a while, I did the middle finger stretch,
Oh, God.
but that didn't work at all once I learned how to play the games on Nintendo 64. And then it was totally just like hold it in the middle.
It had the trigger, but it also didn't have bumpers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you couldn't hit the
And it
trigger
had a
and the
C-pad.
bumpers.
You could
on
I
the
could
right.
hit everything, but maybe it's just my
Your
giant
freakish man
bear
hands.
claws. I don't
All
know.
right.
Yeah, I don't know how I reached
Maybe
the
that's
left
why I loved
bumper.
it.
Now that I think about it.
It's also
It was
Yeah.
convoluted, It was tough, but I loved so many N64 games that I
That's
just dealt
interesting.
with it.
I wonder
think
what they
I got used
thought
to it.
when they designed it. How are they going to reach the left bumper if they're left-handed?
you gotta. I mean, it
Right-handed.
probably went through a ton of quality assurance
I'm sure it
tests,
did.
and I'm
Yeah.
kind of curious what that was because
Sure
you're
they
right.
Yeah.
tested it.
Even though I enjoyed it, it is very awkward.
Yeah.
Because a lot of games force you to be on the right side of the controller, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you needed to use the strong D-pad or the left bumper, it was a
Yeah. Well, you
Absolute
could use. I think I mostly just used the stick, and I never really went over to the D-pad. And a lot of games I don't think really focused on the left bumper because it was so.
They probably didn't.
Annoying.
It was a lot of the
I think they did-
C pad.
they usually did-
opened a lot
Yeah.
Right? 'Cause it
Exactly.
was
So you just had
another
enough
D-pad
buttons on your right thumb.
of buttons.
Yeah.
I think some games alternated it. If you want to use the D-pad, you'd use the left bumper. If you want to use the stick, you use the C button on the trigger or whatever
Yeah.
it was. I think it was called the Z, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it was
What?
Z.
Z.
Oh, the Z button.
Wow.
The trigger.
The Z. All right. So let's get a real topic here. Favorite game endings from retro games. Ooh, that includes either story endings or final battles. Sometimes those are kind of tied up in the same, but
Yeah.
Dun dun dun. Why? Don't look at me like that. The pressure is. Ridiculous.
I'm going to say, here's what I'm going to say. Here's how I'm going to dance around this question right now.
do it.
Retro games, especially Atari, Nintendo, even Sega, were so hard that I don't recall encountering a large number of end games. Right?
Yeah.
This is true.
So that's, I think, part of the challenge here, because they're just the difficulty level is so high that it's really hard to lock
You just have
down
to-
one ending.
True.
And it makes you start all the way back at the beginning. Yeah,
Right.
Which I think.
Yeah, most of them did.
I think one huge, I mean, I guess the first time that I acknowledged boss battles and really thought about preparing for the end game with items and things was Nintendo NES
Right.
with Super Mario 3, because everything ended with a boss battle. They did weird stuff, spinning on their shells, flying around. And
yeah.
the last level was where
Throwing
you go,
bubbles at you.
You go through the moving tank level,
Oh, God.
right? And it shoots weird stuff at you. There are cannons. There are like flickers. I used to call them flickers.
Flickers.
The guys who like lift up and then shoot like a
Yeah.
silver thing at you.
Yeah. They're throwing. I always call them wrenches.
I felt
They
like
are
they were
wrenches,
just.
aren't
Are
I
they
think
wrenches?
They're supposed
Yeah.
to be
They're
wrenches.
wrenches, yeah.
But
They just chuck wrenches at you.
it always had. I had this image in my
thing's
mind
nice.
of somebody just
Throwing
like,
a wrench in your
like
plans.
quarter flicking quarters
Yeah.
at you. I don't
You
know.
should be comfortable with wrenches, though, as a plumber. You'd think.
Right.
Yeah.
My wife actually plays that all the time. We still have a Nintendo that we have hooked up.
Oh, that reminds me.
So awesome.
And she memorized it as a child, and so she just occasionally runs through it.
Just run through to beat it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why she
Speed
came over
runs it.
here
It's impressive.
several months ago and just schooled us all in that game.
Yes. She is very good at
Now
it.
it makes sense.
Yeah.
All comes together.
Had a ringer
Yeah,
in the room.
that's really the biggest one on true retro games. But once you get into PlayStation and
Yeah, and that was
and
before
Nintendo
N64.
64, Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts was that was PlayStation, I think.
Kingdom Hearts was PlayStation, yes.
Yeah,
Right?
not PS2. So Kingdom Hearts 1, that is. I'll let you check that out. I definitely remember that in detail, dealing with, I don't know, just Kingdom Hearts in general. The end of that game was fantastic as a boss battle. Tenchu, Stealth Assassin.
I think I got like 10 minutes into Tenchu.
Oh, dude, Tenchu was my jam for a long time as a young one. But the ending of that was fantastic because you had to use all the skills that you had learned in terms of stealth and using your gadgets, and you had smoke bombs and shuriken and claptraps, everything.
Claptrap. Borderlands?
Caltraps, right.
Caltrops. I think you said claptraps.
I did say that.
It was PlayStation 2.
Oh, no. So that's
Back on
PS2.
topic, Dane.
Oh,
Come
so-
on
For
now.
Kingdom Hearts. Bummer.
Stay in bounds.
That's okay. Tenchu's a bigger memory anyway. But the last battle was, I mean, like, you, even if you stealth really well, you're going to fight the final, like, ninja samurai
Right,
dude somehow.
I bet it was friggin' impossible.
It was super hard. I think I had to quit for months at a
It was
time.
so
and
hard.
A
went
little
back
further
to-
than 10 minutes in.
It was really hard.
God.
I love it, though. But yeah, I don't have too many really vivid memories of end game. Sega Genesis would be a part of that too. Jeez,
And that's, I mean,
too
that's-
much to bear.
Right.
Especially back in the early retro games, it was basically just like a couple of screens like, hey, you won, great job.
Yeah.
And that's all you got. Now there's like,
Right.
Or
watch
you
this
can't-
30-minute cutscene of how
Right.
awesome the storyline wraps up.
Right.
I'm kind of wondering it because I'm blanking too, and I wonder if that's part of why I can't remember anything. Is because there's no memorable ending sequences.
Yeah, it's like, hey, a splash screen of you
The
won.
memory is
Yeah.
enjoying the game and different sequences in the game. Although I guess the ending fights something should have been memorable.
Yeah.
Well,
Something
but
should have stuck.
Some games early on had no ending, like
Yeah.
most Atari games.
Okay.
I don't know if there's an ending of Space Invaders. You just
Just keep
get
going.
faster and faster.
Yeah.
See how far you
And
can
there's
get.
no
And
winning.
just
Yeah.
like Joe
You could just
mentioned, a
score in
lot
the
of times
arcade
it
game.
just cycles through. Like when you ended Metroid and you took out the brain.
The original Zelda.
Right.
It's just like, oh, here you go, start again.
Yeah, start over.
You can do it
Game's
without a
over.
helmet now.
Metroid's
It's
a
like,
great
what?
one. It's a great
Zelda,
one.
the first Zelda, at least you'd start over, but everything was different a little bit.
Was it? Was it a
Like
new game
locations
plus
were well,
mechanic?
it was the locations were different. The dungeons were in different places. Like they swapped them all around.
Seriously, the
Yeah.
original Legend of Zelda.
The original Legend of
Wow.
Zelda. And the comment I made earlier, actually, that a lot of those early games that if you lost, you had to start all the way over. Zelda was one of the first ones I can remember that had save game.
Save, yeah.
That is a strong
That's
game
true.
mechanic
Didn't you have to like
introduction there.
hold in the start button for it to save or something?
Start and
ridiculous
select or
like
something.
That?
I don't know. It was something weird.
I think it was
It's very
weird.
close to the reset the game button.
Yeah,
Oh man.
that was a challenging
Oh man.
that
That makes me think.
to save and load
Yeah.
properly without deleting your whole game.
PlayStation is PlayStation. We already
PlayStation
PlayStation
was
1 was
was
a
in
few
it.
years before N64.
So I think this is legal. I had bought a Japanese import game for the PlayStation, this wrestling game that my friend and I really enjoyed. My friend that is not here.
Oh.
But to get it to play a Japanese import game, you had to have like this spring that you connected to this plastic piece that was on the inside of the lid to the tray. And then that, like, when you closed it, pressed down a button to allow you to play imported Japanese games.
That's crazy.
And I always thought, like, why did they make this? Like,
Yeah, why'd they put
if-
that in there?
If
I didn't
you
know that at
intended
all.
to allow it to be possible, shouldn't it just be possible?
That's awesome.
I don't understand what that does.
I didn't know that at all.
But I just thought of that
They
because you
thought
were
they'd
talking
save
about
money and not have the extra spring.
yeah. I don't know. Maybe that is it, or
The
maybe
spring
it
costs
comes
too
with a
much.
Yeah.
spring and I didn't realize it did.
It's
I don't
gonna
know.
break the bank.
But-
Puts us
They can
over the
provide
weight
their
to
own
ship to
spring.
America.
But yeah, I don't know what pressing a stupid button down on the motherboard of the thing would do. But
That's awesome.
I don't know.
But
It's
I
an
just thought of that because you were
old
talking
style
about
motherboard.
NES saves, and it's like
Did you guys ever play
It's
the,
so
the
rudimentary.
It
original?
reboots the whole CMOS and sets the BIOS up to run in foreign language mode.
Wow.
it wasn't even that long ago.
Why
I don't
not?
think
Just
it's that
terrible
sophisticated.
technology.
PlayStation 1 is like 1/5,000th of our current computers.
I know, exponential.
It's pretty crazy.
I honestly, I a memory triggered earlier of the Game Boy Mario, the original Mario on Game Boy. Definitely have a vivid memory of that.
Like the original
Boss battle.
Game Boy, where the colors are like
Yeah, it's
dark
green.
gray and
Yeah,
some kind of green.
yeah, totally. And the last battle was
It's a
you were
nice
in like
nightmare for
a
colorblind
flying
people.
machine or submarine or something, and you're moving up and down, and you can shoot, and you have to move forward and backward. It was really just here's your space, don't die in it, while still deal. It was the most intense.
Oh man,
That was an early boss battle. That was like 9-year-old, just doing it
that
in the
just,
car on a drive.
just doing it. That triggered a memory of a end game finally for me in NES, and it was Jaws. Did you guys ever play Jaws?
I watched Jaws.
Did you never play the game Jaws?
I
It was actually
might
really,
have rented
it was really
way
cool.
back in the day. Back when-
You would spend most of the game, you'd just be diving down and shooting jellyfish and getting points, and eventually you'd attract Jaws. And there was a lot more to it. You could get the submarine and stuff like that. But once you did enough damage to Jaws in that mode, to end the game, you had to ram him with your boat, and it was friggin' impossible.
Oh man!
It
Wow.
was so hard. But I remember it because you would spend the whole game just like working up to this, and it's another one where you don't save. So you're supposed to beat it in one sitting. And I can't remember how long it would take, but you would spend all this time getting ready, and then you'd get this opportunity, this one shot to try to hit him with your boat, and you'd just fuck it up. And you'd just be like, oh my
Start
God!
the game over in 20 years.
wasted hours of my life.
Now I got to go back to shooting jellyfish, but I loved it.
A lot
I
of those
loved
old systems had a lot of fun games made after TV shows or cartoons or movies.
it. Right.
Like
That's true.
I had Chippendales Rescue Rangers.
Yeah,
Oh,
I played
man.
that. I definitely
I
played
still own that.
that was
DuckTales,
Yeah,
classic
oh, man.
NES game.
DuckTales.
Top Gun was one of my favorite games early on. And that's after a
What
movie.
was?
Which
Top
one?
Gun
Oh man,
on
Oh, yeah.
NES. Oh man,
that
so
was
good.
that was very difficult.
Until some asshat stole it from me.
They why are you looking at me? I didn't steal.
I was just laughing and looking.
It wasn't
steal
you.
no game.
Did
It
he look
wasn't
at you?
you.
Stare you
Yeah,
down?
he was just staring at me like I stole his shit.
It was like a babysitter's friend stole that.
I
in
didn't
Mike
even
Tyson's
know
Punch
you
Out.
back
Oh,
then, man.
what a butthole!
It was traumatizing.
A
as
babysitter's
child.
boyfriend
Yeah,
came over for the
came
freebies.
over, and
hunt him
I woke up
down.
the next morning and a couple of games.
Oh
from a
man,
second. I was
ruining
very
it
sad.
for all
Wow.
of the good babysitters.
Speaking
You were
of which,
exposed to the evils of humanity. at an
I
early
will
age.
reuse. I was. I learned that day.
I died that day.
War.
I did just mention Mike Tyson's Punch Out, which is one of the favorite final battles because it was so difficult.
Yeah.
That was
And
that's
that was
true.
one of those games where like you lose it a couple times and then the game is over, or you have to go back and fight like Don Flamenco Fight 2 or something. Or
Yeah.
I can't remember where it
I
sent
don't
you back.
remember either.
But that battle was that fight, that boxing match, pugilism
It was.
bout was so difficult. Like the first minute and a half, he just throws endless uppercuts, left, right, left, right, left, right, and the only thing you can do is dodge because if you block, you're going down. It's like literally you have to be perfect with your timing for like a minute or a minute and a
Yeah.
half, and then you get to actually do something. Like, hey, welcome to the show. Here's your
Yeah.
trial by fire.
Get some 4 punches in.
Yeah, you can't do anything for the first half of the first round.
What was the
Deal with it.
What was the name of the opponent in that game that was like the big fat dude with a crown and his pants would fall down?
King
when-
Hippo.
Key Honda.
Not, not
Both are
Honda.
acceptable answers.
Although one of the first guys you face is Piston Honda.
Piston Honda.
Yeah,
Oh, Honda's in it. Wow.
he's
That's
a
his-
large Japanese fellow, but it's got kind of like an Elvis hair look to him almost.
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of weird.
I remember that.
It's fun. No, the first one you fight is Glass Joe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
weak.
You just punch him 3 times, he goes down.
There were some great names in that.
Oh man.
Soda Popinski.
Wow. I don't remember a lot of that. Say everyone you remember.
What's wow? I remember that
There weren't a ton.
they
Wasn't it, like,
got
It's
rid
like
of.
8 of them, right?
Didn't you have to go
8 or
through-
10?
Yeah. something
There was a
like that.
later re-release on NES where they got rid of Mike Tyson, and then they replaced it with Mr. Dream, and they just called it Punch Out.
Oh.
And Mr. Dream was exactly the same fighting moves as Mike Tyson. He was just like a
what was that about?
brown-haired giant white guy.
MT got upset.
I think he.
Don't use
I think
my name.
they the contract had lapsed or something. I think he might have also gone to jail somewhere around that time.
Oh, right.
So they
for
d-
beating his
they just said
spouse or
something
whatever.
like that.
Right.
Oh God.
Some
Don't
sort
use
of
my name on my game.
no. Actually,
I
recently,
only use my name.
I think it was Jimmy.
I'm sorry,
so
Mike
good.
Tyson. I
Jimmy
respect you.
Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon. I can't remember which of the late night shows where they had Mike Tyson play himself in that game.
Yeah.
on
that
TV.
that was funny.
Look it up on YouTube.
He got his butt kicked.
yeah, you just,
Spoiler alert: he loses.
yeah. Look it up. Watch him lose. It's
Mike
fun.
Tyson's not a gamer.
Oh, Mike Tyson.
Surprise!
Surprise!
Your career is long and fruitful.
Other favorite game endings: Metal Gear original from NES.
Don't remember that.
I
that was
don't
against
either.
the giant robot.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
the Metal Gear.
the metal.
No, but my
Gear.
favorite game ending from that in Final Battle was every battle in the first like 10 minutes that killed me, and I never got any further than that.
Oh, wow. I
The
can't
game always ended in, "Hey, you lost.
You
Start
know,
all the way over. You
I've
didn't make
never
it very far.
played
You're a
the
champ."
original Metal Gear on Nintendo.
It's
only
really
Metal
hard.
Gear Solid, which was 2 on PlayStation,
Yeah.
which is also retro.
They had a second one, and I think it was one of the only games. I don't think it was actually called Metal Gear in the title. I think it was just called Snake's Revenge or something.
Well,
I can't remember.
I can't even
I also
imagine
played
what it
the
would be on
the
NES.
original.
Was it
There were-
super
there-
hard?
there
How
were
did that
two.
work?
Oh, it was really
Yeah,
hard.
it was
Well, you
really
went around and
difficult,
you
it
got
was
gear.
top view down.
Yeah. And you kind of had to stealth
How do you stealth in a Nintendo game?
because things would just
It's like
patrol,
grid-based,
and then
yeah.
you have to sneak around them, and you'd have
Oh,
items and gear and.
Yeah, I don't think they
Usually
factored in
they'd see you-
sound in that one.
Okay, it was
It
just
was
like
just
don't
sight,
be seen
line
by
of
the
sight, yeah.
roving,
Well, you're a
Entity.
child, and you get to a room with dogs,
and you pet them.
and they destroy you. That's pretty much how it goes.
It was
That's the
a
game.
lot of problem solving too, and
Yeah.
and just trying to figure out their puzzles.
Timing
Yeah.
and
Like a lot
problem
of
solving.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I
A
would
lot of
kind of like to
Nintendo
play that.
adventure.
I kind of want to go back and do it. It was fun, but it really makes sense that the game, that whole game lineage, has kind of kept with the stealthy use tools and stuff. That
Despite the
that's how
story
the whole first
jumping
game was
into
in
space.
NES.
Right.
Well, yeah, it goes a little nuts. Metal Gear, but
That was
Oh, well,
really
I
good.
love Metal Gear Solid.
I love how he says that. He's like, that's not really how it's pronounced. Do it anyways.
Do it now.
I think is the story how that went.
Oh man.
I was going to say another one. Peripherals was something we were talking about, which I think is interesting. Like games these days, other than you mentioned the Xbox Connect thing, which I've never actually tried.
What a wonderful,
Have you tried it?
wonderful machine. No,
Okay.
I've just heard rumors.
But NES,
No,
for
never tried
instance, had, oh God, so many. Did you ever have it had the guns and the game pads and all that stuff, but
Oh,
did you
yeah.
ever have the big, more arcade style controller?
Yeah,
That
I
thing
didn't
was awesome.
Own it, but I've played it.
You actually had a joystick. It
Yep.
was like big and weighted and
Yeah.
heavy.
Oh, I know what you're
you
talking
put it on
about
the
now.
table, and then
And
it's
the
got
big
like two
buttons.
big buttons, and you
Yeah.
play it like
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
joystick,
Yeah,
double tap,
yeah.
Double
index
tap.
fingers.
There were a lot of-
It's weird because you don't actually use your right thumb, which is totally different than
You
the other
could if you
controller.
wanted to.
Yeah, that'd be a little awkward. Yeah, you could do that.
Thumb it.
That's a weird. That's a weird,
Got to work that out.
Just
weird
doing
twitch maneuver.
you
Spaz.
mentioned
I
the
can't put that through airwaves, but
you mentioned the gamepad. And what was the track and field? Was it just called track and field?
trackpad.
I don't know.
I think it was the
I
trackpad.
think it was
I
just
don't know
called
what it's
track and
called.
field. But
Oh, the game was track and field. I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's what it was called.
I think it was the trackpad for track and field.
I have two distinct memories when it comes to the gamepad. Is playing a ton of track and field because we would, instead of actually running on it, we would just like barely lift our heels off the
Oh yeah,
the
gotta spaz
pad
on it.
and just
Yeah,
spaz
it's
on it.
It's a leg spaz. Yeah.
And then you just run like crazy. And to the point where even when I was doing like the hurdles, I would just run through the hurdles and still win, which looked ridiculous because I just run into hurdles and over hurdles.
Oh, man.
Would never jump and I'd still beat them.
I played the long jump the most on that game because
Nice.
it pissed me off so much. It's a register issue. You run up and then you have to perfectly, put your feet down and jump, and then it, determined. But so often you just fly over the white line and fall into the sand. And
Didn't
it could have been
time
the
it
first time I ever swore in
Is
my
that what you
youth.
said?
It's like register that shit.
The number of times that you've said that during a video game.
That's probably where
burnt
that
into
first
my memory.
started. Where it's come on, game.
I got that heel off.
That's great.
I
Register
did
that
it.
shit.
I did it. But that's super cool. That I wonder how those conversations went as well. Back to the way they developed the games, because they
So
made the
open.
simple controllers, create games for the system.
I mean,
But all these peripherals came out to accommodate pretty specific games.
Right.
That running pad was only for. I wonder if they made.
They probably had a few other games that did that, but that's probably why that people, game consoles don't make a ton of peripherals anymore because not enough game designers jumped on board.
Right.
But
True.
Not
Good
economical. Well, like
they were
that
fairly
must have been a
simple designs, though.
I see. I wonder because it's kind of a sophisticated mat to set up. There were 8 nodes on that thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah. It was,
16 nodes.
Aren't there Dance Dance Revolution games that have you can buy a pad?
Yeah, we actually have one at home.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
It's carried on. The legacy of the trackpad has carried on.
The trackpad was bigger though. It had 8 spots. It was 4 columns of 2.
Ah, right. Yeah, because there was a relay race or something where you had to get on 4 people.
Something.
Get on 4 people. That sounds
You had to get
dangerous.
on 4 people.
People worry about the Wii controller being thrown at somebody's face or the TV, but when you have 4 people stacked on top of a thing spazzing out,
Yeah.
Does
that's
someone
broken limbs right there.
I know
Good old
that
days.
there's been joking YouTube videos of people throwing Wii controllers into TVs, but do you think people are actually that?
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Careless?
I'm
They would-
entirely certain that's happened.
Wow.
That's silly.
Well, that's
How do you
describes my whole faith in
That's
humanity.
silly.
But
You
I'm
just
sure it
get
happened.
break
Well, that's
the
why they have
controller.
a strap.
so sweaty that it
They didn't originally
I
have a
guess
strap on
sweat
there,
might-
did they? Or did they?
was
That's
there,
what it's there for.
did
I'm
you
sure
just
a lot of
ask
people.
if a strap-on was included.
Oh, this wasn't delivered.
There's a wrist strap on the thing.
on
the controller.
A strap on it. Okay.
Just
Got it.
because they probably knew people are going to throw these. And yeah, that's true. There's a lot of workout games or games that might make you sweat a little bit.
But are you just
So maybe
violently
it just gets.
flailing your arms around? Like,
Dude,
I honestly thought you were
especially-
talking about deliberate throwing of the controller into the
Oh
TV.
no, I meant like you're
no.
playing tennis
Accidentally.
and it slips out. I imagine some frat party that has happened.
Oh
Come
my
on.
I can
gosh.
see anger throws.
Crazy
I used to
blackout
throw.
drunk
I'm
people
too
throwing
cool for the
controllers
wrist
at the TV.
bracelet. I can't wear it.
I admittedly,
I'm too cool.
I used to throw controllers all the time. I had such a rage problem when
Not
it
at
came
the TV.
to no, but I did several times hit the PlayStation. It was usually
Well, that thing was built like a tank.
it was.
Well
Although
armored.
at the end of the lifespan of our PlayStation, I had it tipped on its side so that it could still rotate because the engine was all screwed up.
Oh no.
It was ridiculous.
Oh, the things
But yeah.
we do to keep our
I
retro
used to-
games.
I
The
we
massive
had so
drive.
many Sega controllers. I feel bad. I should apologize to my parents for how much money I wasted breaking shit.
New controller.
I learned to solder on my actual original NES. I soldered on a new pin connector that wasn't like the U shape like they have that works on the motherboard that they have. It was a straight one, so the game had to go in upside down into the back of the console. So I had to kind of get a hacksaw and cut a big hole in the back. It looks horrible, but it still works.
Hey,
And I
that's all
don't
that
have to
matters.
blow on it anymore.
That's all that matters.
But it still works. I love it.
Yeah, that was in
funny.
college, right? That was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
When you did that.
Resurrected
I
it.
thought-
Had many a game night. That's when retro gaming.
I thought you were talking
Started
about when
for
you
me.
were a kid. I was like,
No,
damn,
no.
no.
Well,
Yeah.
that was one of the first things. I saw.
6-year-old
Bust
Joe
out the
just
soldering
soldered.
iron. I'm like,
No,
wow, I feel
no.
so insignificant.
You were breaking controllers, asking for new
Yeah.
ones. He's asking for soldering irons.
I
I'm
do
so
love
angry. I need a
irons,
soldering iron right
but
now.
that's just a personality quirk.
Yeah. So you think it's economical? That's why peripherals
I
aren't around?
wonder. I mean, they really have to get game developers to sign into it, although to kind of buy in and get on board with it. But I think there are some like that, like the Dance Dance Revolution one and the Connect, where they've
True, and like
Done
the
it.
Rock Band, but that, I mean, those are
and Rock Band.
Rock
Oh
Band's
yeah,
a-
those
that's
are
a
kind
great
of
idea. That's a great
dependent
reference.
on those. Like
Yeah.
you can't have the game without
Right.
them. So it's more a
But
cost of the
you
game.
just have to have a good enough game or an interesting enough game that people are willing to pay for the extra peripheral.
Right.
But in NES, like the gun came with my NES, I think
Right.
originally.
Right.
Um,
I think it's also because
And
the
I don't remember-
controllers evolved to accommodate almost
Anything,
anything, especially the motion controllers.
a lot of things,
right.
like the Wii controllers.
you know, not a guitar or a trackpad, but
Right. I mean, again, the Rock Band thing is really, man. We played the
I-
crap out of Rock Band.
oh yeah,
Rock Band 4 came out.
did it?
Rock Band
Renaissance,
4?
Renaissance, gentlemen. Rock Band 4.
Wow, we should
lot of the
totally
songs
have a
on
rock
there-
band night. Can we do a rock band night soon?
I feel like
the
that would be
that was a fun game.
fantastic.
I think I still
Can we
have
do
a lot
it
of the peripherals
here?
somewhere around here. Sure. Yes, you're all invited for Rock Band Night. I feel like the quality of the songs has gone down.
You know, so
We were talking about that
yeah, we talked
recently,
about
I think.
that. So the original song list on Rock Band 4 that they released was not too impressive to me because I read up on it. But then
That's all personal taste, I guess.
yeah, but then they released the list of download songs, potential download songs, and it was amazing. It was
Do you have to
pay for 'em?
everything.
Is that micro
Probably.
transition?
Yeah.
Micro transitions.
But
Micro transition.
Oh,
A
man.
transition of money from my wallet into yours.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah. So, but can you think of a game that the NES gun was used in other than Duck Hunt? I've been sitting here racking my mind.
I do not.
Mind brain.
I thought it was, but I don't remember anything.
I feel like
of what
it
was
should.
called.
Oh,
Master Blaster.
Area
Master?
51 or whatever that was in that general era of that arcade game. There was a version on console that I think you could buy guns for. That might have been like
that might have been
early
super-
Mad Catz peripherals stuff and all that, but
Mad
Mad
Cats.
Catz. Did they always
Speaking-
made like cheaper knockoff controllers? They made some of the peripherals in Rock Band too.
Did you
Wow.
guys?
I
Well,
don't know
Rock
anything
Band
about that.
also. I think it might have been like Rock Band 2 or 3 that they actually. I think they might have made the keyboard. Don't
For,
quote
that
me
was
on
Rock Band
that.
3.
Yeah, Rock
for the
Band 3,
keyboard?
They might have been involved in that. I don't
Oh,
remember.
yeah.
They've always made peripherals.
Nice.
Brand placement there.
That's their life.
Not brought to you by Mad Catz.
Peripherals.
Did you guys ever play the like interactive TV games? And the one that comes to mind is
Khufu the Mummy.
Captain Power, where you would have like a toy ship that you would shoot at the screen. And I don't know how it worked, if it had like a reflective thing.
Probably just like
Just
the
like
N6
the-
or the
right.
NES gun.
But it kind of it knew, well, yeah, that makes sense. But it was like a TV show. It wasn't a video game. Anyways, but like you would watch the TV show, but it'd be an interactive TV show, and you'd be shooting at these targets, which are usually bad guys, during the episode,
Usually.
and they'd have like projectiles coming at you, and if you didn't shoot the projectile, no, that's what it was. You had to shoot the projectiles, not the enemies. And if you didn't shoot the projectile and it got like to the front of the screen, then you would take a hit.
Wow.
And once you took enough damage, the toy itself would just eject your person out of the ship. It
So
was awesome.
This toy was obviously plugged in.
You were abducted by aliens.
Yeah, this is.
That's
I've never
what that
even heard of
sounds
this.
like.
This is
You've
crazy.
never played that?
I've never even heard
Oh my
of that.
God.
So
How
the
is
ship-
that even possible?
I don't know.
You're holding a ship. The ship was the ship plugged into like a TV.
He
or
was on
console
a
or
ship
anything?
with
No.
others. The others came.
Wow.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you,
This
man.
is like
you gotta
fucking-
look it up.
This is the Last Starfighter. This is the plot of the Last Starfighter.
Trevor might have just dropped
Well,
some
I can't-
acid when I wasn't looking.
Yeah, maybe
When he was 8.
The last Starfighter.
Remember Captain Kickass, where I threw my shit at the TV?
Oh man, I'm gonna find
Like a
this
monkey.
and I'm gonna show it to you.
What? That sounds great, though.
What was it
I
called?
wonder how that was possible. That sounds like a PBS initiative of genius.
PBS initiative.
Because you said it's a cartoon show.
Was-
Or not a
wow.
cartoon show, some kind of show.
It couldn't be a show. Doesn't make
I'm trying.
sense.
I'm trying to pull
Joe's
this up, but I'm trying to
rejecting this theory.
turn down the
I
volume.
still think
so it
it's
doesn't-
space
You're not
aliens.
communicating
Space aliens.
with the TV
Oh,
station. Space aliens. Still plausible. Is
Oh,
that
man.
Scott Baio? Oh no, that's a child.
Yeah.
All right. Whoa, no, wait.
This is Power Rangers.
This
Oh, that
is
kid
not
looks
Power
just like the kid from.
I'm sorry. We're watching this video.
Yeah,
Boom! See, I told you.
we might have to link this with
Captain
something.
Power.
Yeah,
Oh
we
my
should
Captain
link
Power.
this when we post it because
That
Yeah.
kid looks
Wow.
like the kid that I see dead people.
Oh,
But obviously, I don't think he was even born when
Jake
that
Lloyd.
commercial came out. Not Jake Lloyd.
Oh man,
The kid from. Oh, you mean Jake Lloyd? It's got to be
the
Jake
child,
Lloyd.
Jake Lloyd.
Yeah.
Child actor Jake Lloyd.
The Jake Lloyd lookalike, though. He had like the soft
specifically
eyes or
his
whatever.
smirk.
Oh,
Jake Lloyd's smirk is its own thing.
Okay,
it's
so
its own person.
Captain Power. Want to replay that? Metal Gear 1.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up.
Replay it.
Play it
for the
once.
first
Play
time.
it once. I wonder what it's probably like $4
Wow.
billion on eBay somewhere.
Yeah. Because first you have to get a ship into space. to
But yeah,
meet
I
up
wonder.
with the
I wonder what
orbiting
time frame
alien.
that was. I was pretty young on that, and yeah, it blows my mind that they
That is cool.
did that.
I like that we limited it up to N64, and we really didn't talk about N64 games, other than the controller.
Yeah,
that's
so-
true. GoldenEye and Star Fox
Obviously
were
it's
my
gonna be GoldenEye.
first two experiences.
GoldenEye.
Favorite
Was
GoldenEye
amazing.
gun?
Favorite GoldenEye gun. I actually preferred just the silence,
Slappers?
the silence pistol.
Ooh.
And I would love play like the first level that you had to play. I always enjoyed, and this is really weird now that I think about it. I enjoyed the first situation you have where you're coming in from above some dude that's in the bathroom, and you just shoot him in the head,
Yes.
or do I guess whatever method you want to use. But
I always think back to that and think of the multiplayer and playing 4-player on screen couch co-op style
on that map.
Yeah, well, actually, all of the maps, many of them,
all of the
I won't
maps
say all of the
simultaneously.
But the single player storyline at the time was really fun to play through. I went back recently and tried to do it. It was like clunky and really annoying. But
they had all the challenges too. Like you had to clear that. Oh, that wasn't the first level. That was the second level because the first level was the bridge before you jump down. There.
Oh yeah,
right.
And they had like time trials. Like you had to do whatever. I don't know. Anyways,
wow, I don't remember the single player that one.
You don't really?
Not really.
Yeah, and you would. That's how you unlocked other stuff for the multiplayer.
It was great.
Was to beat the trials on each level.
That was great.
Yeah.
I never owned it though. That was just at other people's houses type thing.
Did you have a favorite weapon?
Proximity mines,
yeah,
was what I used most often.
I'm still there.
Nasty. Did you guys ever play Perfect Dark?
Oh yeah,
I did not.
It was the same.
It's almost like a mod
developers.
of GoldenEye.
A newer version.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun though. It had kind of,
but it
more sci-fi weaponry,
right.
I think. Too.
And the favorite gun in that one was definitely this laptop gun.
Oh yes.
So it's
the
like
laptop gun.
Was it like a briefcase or something?
Yeah, it was like a briefcase or a lap. It looked like a laptop.
Run around using it as a gun, but you could also place it as like
you
an
could
automatic gun turret.
It was like a turret.
That's
you could
a
just
great
throw
idea.
it above a door
It's
and someone would
like,
run through and just get the back of their head blown off.
You know how the turrets look in
fantastic.
Payday 2 where it's like a briefcase, but there's like the
Yeah.
computer in it. It's like a really heavy duty kind of computer with a gun built in. It's kind of like that. Like
Oh,
I think Perfect Dark might have been
Oh, that was such
a
That's a
forerunner
good
And
idea.
they
to
had
Payday 2 turrets.
They had a map that was
Calling it out right there.
Ancestor.
that had a replica of the Matrix scene remember the Matrix bank scene where all the
Oh yeah.
walls are getting blown up, but like they had a map in Perfect Dark that
Cartwheeling between all
that
the
was
columns.
that basically with the
Wow.
elevator at the end, and that was always
do
a death
remember that.
trap because if you go in
I
the
do
elevator,
remember
you're
that.
toast.
That would've
as in
been-
any game.
That would have been around the same time too.
Yeah, any
Original
multiplayer
Matrix and
elevators.
Perfect Dark.
Stay away from elevators. That shit never works.
Just bottleneck
Never
in there.
pleasant.
Someone is always waiting for some
Especially-
idiot to walk into the elevator, and then you're getting whatever that game presents. C4 up the ass,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
gun to the face as soon as the door opens, or
And don't use
a
them.
knife from some dick that's somehow invisible behind you. I don't know.
Or Fallout 4, and then Piper doesn't get in. You're like, get the in
Yeah.
there, Piper, and she's like,
We got
oh,
shit
sorry,
to
Blue.
do.
Guys,
I'll take the next
Piper.
The
one.
dick with a knife
And
behind.
it
We don't
takes
have
you
enough power
70
to
hours
send this
to
thing.
run up the stairs.
Yeah. Well, don't.
I don't think you
In
realize.
case of fire, don't use elevator. Public service announcement.
But I guess
Or any of these other threats.
if I was with someone and they were in power armor and they got into an elevator, I would not follow them because that's
They-
probably
well,
the weight
Yeah.
limit.
Yeah.
They would also
That's true.
take up all the goddamn space.
Yeah.
Ain't no room.
Trusting 200-year-old.
Be ass to nuts over in the corner. So we did talk a lot about NES, and I think it's a bit nostalgic because it was to look back at it. It seems so. It is nostalgic. It's so kind of charming. Like I think you had mentioned recently.
Yeah.
That it's so simple but so amazing.
It
So
is.
I mean, what's the reasoning behind that?
I don't know. It's definitely a golden memory for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just NES. It's those, those Atari moments where I was
Yeah.
struggling with some game. I couldn't wait to play it coming home from school. It's, I think it was the first time where I felt challenged in something that was achievable.
Yeah.
In like a puzzle sense, like an entertainment sense. So early stuff like that really, and it's formative.
Yeah. I think
as
it was.
well.
I was going to say that your formative years. You know,
Right.
it's just kind of.
And it's our first exposure. I mean, I'm sure the memories current gamers have with whatever they're first exposed to, that's going to be the formative gaming moment, and they're going to think back and say, gosh, remember Destiny on PS4? That was crazy. It's so primitive, blah, blah, blah. And to us, that's hilarious because you, child, are a child. Children. But they're going to feel the same way. So it's just that golden past, that those good times. There was no worries back then.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
man.
It's
I
just
mean,
such a fun time. playing
Nintendo
games as a kid, you
64,
don't
for
worry.
example, is a huge formative gaming moment for me because I didn't own it at first, but my friend Andy did, and he lived 3 blocks away from me. So when he got it for Christmas the year it came out, 1996. So it would have been the Christmas of '96, like 3 months after it came out. And we had a ton of snow days that year, and I would be allowed.
'96.
We didn't have to drive. I could just run down to his house, and it was just these memories of snow days, and we just play for hours.
Yeah.
And I thought I was going to get in trouble, because I just played games for
I'm
8
not at
hours
school,
straight,
I
and
just
I'm not
play
allowed to
games
do
all
that.
day.
I mean, at home, it was like, you have a 2-hour limit to play games because that's too much time. And this was like 8 hours of gaming, and that broke me. So it's golden memories.
Wow. My neighbor,
Yeah.
my neighbor I grew up next to, the neighbor of mine when I was a child.
Near which I grew up.
He also had
Near who?
strict parents, and we were all gaming back then and playing Magic the Gathering and stuff like that. And I have so many memories of going over there and gaming, and then like at a certain point, I would just get kicked out of the house,
Yeah.
which is funny. It's like, get this kid out of here! You're a bad influence.
Yeah, you're gaming too much.
It's like you're
Live in
rotting
the
their
real
brains.
world.
I'm developing my own brain, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. This is challenging.
But
You couldn't do it.
Yeah, N64. I
Figure this
agree. N64 was the
couldn't
first
do it.
time that it was
Oh, man.
4-player native to the system. You didn't have to buy any extras to make it 4-player. Because I think the PlayStation,
Genesis had a
which came a little
PlayStation
before.
was 2.
3 plugins.
PlayStation was 2, but you could
PlayStation
get something
was
that
2.
did 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Genesis was 4.
I think
no,
SNES
Genesis
you
was
could
2.
split it and get 4.
Oh, could you?
I think,
But
I don't think it was natural
Out the
to
box,
console.
I don't think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
So
Secret
it's
of
just
Mana
naturally-
was a 3-player.
What?
Secret of Mana for N60 or SNES was 3-player. Right.
Was it? I don't know. I only played that 2-player. But it requires a peripheral regardless.
Yeah. Anyhow, back to your
Right.
topic.
Well, you can
Right.
play Turtles Arcade on
4-player.
NES
Yeah.
4-player with a peripheral,
That was a good game.
which was a super rare
Anyways,
thing.
I just feel like that
Oh yeah.
when they designed the system, they obviously had multiplayer in mind, and so I think that's probably when we started to get some of the first games that focused on multiplayer instead of just strictly single player or 2-player co-op or something like that. But
And I think that's a great thing to mention, and it's one of the reasons I respect Nintendo's initiative in gaming, because they have gone a separate path and they get flack from hardcore gamers about they're not creating the gaming experience we want, but they're really consistent with making socially driven group gameplay. And back then it was a little bit more. I mean, N64 dominated back then. I mean, that
did.
was it.
The
That was
4-player.
it was
everything. The
Co-op
games were great.
or-
They were
Versus
hardcore.
constant
they were
dog
light.
fights and star
Yeah, it
fights.
was intense.
But they did that even NES, like the 2-player co-op games. There were so many good ones.
Right.
Like
true.
Battletoads or Rampage or
Double Dragon.
Double Dragon. That's what I was going to say. I kept thinking Streets of Rage, but that was later. That was
Double
Sega.
Dragon.
But Double Dragon's
And then they
I
mixed
think I
Double
played
Dragon
all
and Battletoads and made it.
Yeah.
them. Yes.
That's ridiculous.
I think I had that on Game Boy, on like original
Yeah, that was a ridiculous crossover.
crazy Game Boy. Wow, that was a good one.
Oh, Battletoads. What a.
I don't
Who
think
came
I
up
ever
with
Oh
that
my God.
shit?
The
Like,
level-
what are you on
I
when you
know.
pitch to somebody?
It's a crazy
"Let's
chicken telling a
make
bunch of super
Battletoads,"
toads.
and it's a genius. It just-
And when they fall
it
down the
works.
pit, they turn into bells, and you hit stuff across
you
the
hit
screen.
Shit, I don't think you're bell. You're
Oh, you
supposed
were
to-
a bell.
You look like bells. You go up against the wall and you turn into a bell or a weight or something,
It's
and then
not
you
a
swing
bell.
across
Yeah,
and hit the
it's
beak
like
monster
a-
birds.
A bell, like a bell from a church.
It looks like a bell.
No,
I'm pretty sure.
Or else it's like a
That-
fishing weight or something.
I can't.
I
What?
don't know. It looks kind of weird, roundish.
yeah, you become something
bell-shaped.
solid. But
I always thought it was a bell.
I always called it a bell.
What did you think it was?
It was like a wrecking ball.
But it was kind of
But it was like a
bell-shaped wrecking ball.
triangular
You know,
trapezoid.
you're
That's
probably right,
aerodynamic,
wrecking ball,
though.
but
Isn't that how you-
it was shaped.
Isn't that how
Well,
you do it?
I always think of a
Are
wrecking
wrecking
ball as
balls
like a round
actual spheres?
ball.
Oh,
I have no idea.
The ones that I'm.
well, maybe it's a
Well, I don't know. That's a good
wrecking
question.
Hershey kiss.
It does.
Maybe it's a wrecking bell.
May-
But then after you get to the bottom of that, if you make it to the bottom of that, you have to do those damn
races?
Races.
Oh
and
my
jumps.
Yeah,
God,
the
those
races
are
were
impossible.
Awful.
I don't know. I don't remember
Memorize
much past
this,
that.
Yeah,
but
memorize
memorize it when it's like 6 levels into a game.
Yeah, and then you have to jump
get
all the way back to
2
the beginning.
shots before
Yeah.
you start over.
Oh man.
And you're already low on lives because that stupid wrecking
'Cause you
bell
kept
level is
killing
freaking
your
ridiculous.
companion with the wrecking bell.
Oh,
Yeah.
it always
'Cause it's fun.
degenerated into just team killing.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
totally.
Did I
Killing
snip
fucktard.
your wire? I'm sorry.
Did I just hit you in the back of the head multiple times with that thing's leg?
If you
Yes.
wanted to do it well, though, one person was top, one was bottom, right? And you like take care
Yeah,
of business.
that's what-
If
that's
you
what-
wanna-
yeah.
That's
I know.
a
Always
genius
did.
co-op mechanic. Yeah.
You just did you hear yourself when you were saying
It's
that?
Was
like-
it sexual?
it's like-
oh, it was so sexual.
It's like football if hitting high and low was allowed.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
High and low at the same time.
Can't go high low.
You can't. It's a law.
So did you
It's a bylaw.
Did you prefer to be the top or the bottom in that situation?
Oh, I killed my partner every time. I was a terrible Battletoads player. I went wherever they were. Top on top, bottom on bottom. It's the way it is.
You get to the point early on where you get to fly that little dragon bird thing, and then like
Yeah.
one person would get one, and the other person like didn't get theirs, and then you'd be like, "I'm gonna beat up my
Yeah, I'm going to destroy him in the tunnel.
cooperative player
In the
and
pit.
steal this sweet thing and fly through the air."
That's funny.
Oh,
Wow.
man. Those are good memories.
man.
That's some good
Did you
ideas.
guys transfer not an N64 game, but going back to Genesis, because my brain's flying right now. Did you ever play Rock and Roll Racing?
I did not play that.
None of you played
Played Excite Bike.
Oh my
Gunstar
God.
Heroes.
Excite Bike was
Rock and
fantastic.
roll racing.
Rock and Roll Racing was awesome. It was had RPG elements because you gained money and you would buy new vehicles and
Ooh.
buy like
It's like an
Ooh.
early road rash.
and you'd use but it was
Jeez, talk
top
about-
down
Okay.
of the top down and you could see the whole track, like it didn't scroll at all or anything like that, but you would like sabotage people, you'd shoot rockets at people, lay oil and caltraps and
Oh,
stuff
wow.
like
That is
Wow.
very Road Rash.
That is very
it is
Ooh.
it's fantastic.
Road Rash was
and
great
Road
too.
Rash, I can't believe I didn't even think about that. Road Rash was
Skitchin'.
incredible.
That was...
Did you ever
That
play
was
Skitchin'?
and Skitchin'.
So I
played
I
so
would
much
highly
Skitchin'.
doubt
I
that
never
anybody
played Skitchin'.
Let's
into-
make
I know
a
what
game
that
about
is.
rollerblading, and
It's Road Rash on
fucking
rollerblades.
amazing. Like, how did
It
you?
was crazy.
Skitchin'.
It's like let's grab onto bumpers of cars and then
Why
beat
was
the
it
shit
called
out of each
Skitchin'?
other.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, that's what you
Um,
do when you ride a.
It's like skating
car.
and hitching onto the back of
Oh,
a car. So I
that
think they
makes
just made it
perfect
skitching.
sense.
They'd pop the trunk on you and just.
Oh yeah,
That
wreck
had to
your
be some
world.
kind
They
of
had
like
a car
weird
with the-
California thing.
You got a
Trunk
you
control.
got so many points if you
Probably.
could skitch on the back of not just a police vehicle but a police motorcycle.
Mm.
If you could pull that off, you got so much points.
Jeez.
But it was not good because
And
if
they
the
were
cops
like, "Oh,
saw
weird
you,
game."
you were done. Your race
And
was
wiping
over.
out in that one is that and Road Rash too. I mean, you're on a bike.
Road Rash, sometimes you go flying.
Yeah, in both
You
of
run
them.
back
do.
for like a minute.
Then you get hit by a car.
Or when your bike's wrecked and you finish the race by running because they can't pull you over.
Some dickwad
You ever
cattle
do
prods
that?
you.
Oh gosh, I totally did. There's a lot of good memories in Road Rash. I really enjoyed that game.
Yeah,
Who'd you guys side with? Were you like the Harley dudes or the Japanese freaks?
Was that? do
I
you
didn't
in the
even remember
original?
there were
There
factions.
were
That must be
two or
it.
three Road Rashes.
No,
I think
it was
that
Road
happened in
Rash
the later
3D on PlayStation.
one. Oh wow,
Oh wow, yeah, that couldn't have been. The
I didn't play
first.
that one. I only played the Genesis one.
Was it called 3D?
I don't know.
I don't know.
3DS.
But anyway, there were factions in it, yeah.
That's awesome.
And each place had a faction bias. So if you affiliated with one, they said stuff to
Did you have to do rep grinding?
That's awesome.
Early rep
Rep
grinding.
Kind of. I mean, I remember
Daily
redoing
quests?
races for something.
Daily
Yeah.
quests for the
Gain,
Yakuza.
I want your attention, faction.
You did this yesterday, but it needs done again. It seems pretty heroic.
Do the same
Do
thing.
I really need to do it again? how often does this happen?
How many times?
How often do I have to throw a spear through a dragon, ride its head, and make sure it doesn't eat me?
I
Yeah.
want daily rep grinding.
Road Rash 3D, PlayStation 1.
Hey, that fits in
That's
this
fantastic.
Era.
Wow. 5 out of 10 on IGN.
5 out of 10
But Cool Rom gave it a 4.8. Screw you,
out
IGN.
of 5.
Why don't you like play a game instead
Why did
of
they call it
also
3D?
reviewing some History Channel show?
3D?
Idiot.
Why did they call it 3D?
PlayStation had it was one of the first consoles that you could actually do 3D games. Like
But you couldn't.
Oh, it wasn't.
It
3D.
Twisted Metal?
It was
wasn't
not 3D.
3D though.
I'm thinking more like Twisted Metal. They probably just
Okay.
latched on to like, hey, you can.
Oh,
play
you can
3D
move
games
in 3 directions. Is that what we're
It's
talking
kind of a like. Well, they probably
Can't go backwards,
three
so you got
dimension.
3.
Well, games before that,
Three
all
directions,
all
three
the art,
dimensions.
even if you can't move in 3 dimensions, well, you can't still kind of can because you can slow down and speed up. But the everything before that was kind of 2D. Like you think of
Oh.
Road Rash, for instance.
Yeah.
You know, the cars were actually just all different. I mean, even if you see them from the side, it's still a 2D picture image on the screen. But in PlayStation, things could be rendered in 3 dimensions. So you actually have like it was probably just a game engine thing being in 3D. You know?
Interesting.
Like in Twisted Metal, how you can roll all the way around the whole track and spin around and do stuff, and it's fully 3D.
I played so much
That could be
Twisted
it.
Metal.
That could be
Yeah.
why.
Played so much Twisted
I
Metal.
liked the dude with his arms were like the axles, and his name was Axel.
I forgot about
With
that
the
guy.
giant tires. Oh, man.
What an asshole.
Yeah, he was.
Oh man,
I always played, in the first one, I always played Thumper with a flamethrower because that thing just wrecked shit. And in the second one, who did I play in the second one? Maybe the second one was Thumper, and the first one was...
Crazy clown, man.
Who was that dude that shot the, ghost?
Oh, like the dude
He
that was
in
driving
like
the
a
hearse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in a-
Oh, I don't remember his name.
I don't remember.
He would
any of
shoot
that.
a ghost across the ground and then trigger it to explode. It was fantastic. Wow. That's so good.
Wow,
That was big.
I don't remember those
Big.
names.
Twisted
man,
Metal.
at all.
That was right around the same era on PlayStation. It wasn't Castlevania Symphony of the Night. We didn't even mention Castlevania.
Castlevania's original
All of
Nintendo.
the series,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
original Nintendo. But the Symphony of the Night
That
one
was
is
so hard.
PlayStation 1, I want to say.
I did not play
Oh,
that.
so
I don't know.
good.
I don't think I played any of the Castlevanias beyond the original two.
Yeah,
Oh.
on NES.
Yeah, I didn't play the three-dimensional one.
I never did either.
So good. It was still side-scrolling, but
Cool.
the graphics were better. And
Cool premise.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah.
cool premise.
Those were always nice because
Cool
it's
premise.
one of the first experiences of upgrades, and when as your whip was progressing, and eventually it was like on fire, and
Oh, yeah.
it's always a great feeling in a game.
Whip is just a cool weapon.
Yep.
And there's a lot of games. I mean, that was a big early side scroller, I would say, and
Yeah.
that and Contra.
Oh
Contra was
wow,
huge.
Just throw that out there.
that just
Like
Yeah.
wow.
NES had some really classic side scrollers.
Yeah, Contra was
Most of
so
them.
good.
Contra had both, though.
Did
'Cause
it
there
have
were
top
those-
down?
It had.
Those in between missions.
Yeah.
yeah,
Where
where
you
you're
were-
like,
Oh,
You were pressed against the screen and you're facing forward.
yeah.
I don't even know what that's called. Behind the head.
Yeah.
Behind the head.
Didn't they have quite a few levels where you were in like a mine car? And it's like, why am I in a mine car? Why does this place have so
Dealing
many
with
damn
Nicaragua
mines
right now.
Yeah.
is
This
it one of those
ridiculous.
games? Was that one of those things where you were constantly running, like G.I. Joe the arcade? Like
Yeah,
you're looking
yeah,
from
so you
behind, but
don't-
you're constantly
you're
running.
not
You move
actually
left to right.
controlling
Yeah,
the-
there were some of those.
Yeah,
so
you
that was
control
like the
left or right.
precursor to.
And you just keep
G.I.
triggering
Joe.
awesome memories for me.
I'm
With
just
G.I.
all about
Joe,
it.
They had that for a while.
Playing in the movie theaters
Even like I can't remember when it went away, but
when they had arcades.
one of the they had it at an arcade in the movie theater,
Cruising
and
USA.
would play so much of that G.I. Joe game. That's so good.
Yeah, 4-player G.I. Joe game. I mean,
That's intense.
that machine just eats your coins.
Wow.
Remember that?
I do remember
It can
that.
have it.
Those 4-player
Have all my
arcade
coins.
games.
And all of the Ninja Turtles
Gauntlet
4-player
and
arcade
Ninja
games.
Turtles.
Gauntlet. Wow.
Oh, all those.
Red Warrior
I
shot
really-
the food.
I really like when they remade Gauntlet, and I
The
don't know
N64 version?
was it N64?
Yeah. I
think there was
that
that
was
fits.
such a good game.
And
I
remade
really
it again
enjoyed that.
since.
I mean,
And they do have a newer one. I think you can get it on Steam.
oh really?
Yeah.
Is it?
It's 4-player.
I think it's 4-player
co-op.
co-op. I haven't
But it's
played
not like because I know they'd made another one that was kind of retro, didn't they? Like they tried to go back to the spirit of the original, where it was top down,
8-bit.
not.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know. It's a good question.
But anyways, if it's that, yeah, I would love to play that. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a cool game. I like that concept too. Just a band of fantastical
Yeah.
warriors just
Killing
kicking
everybody.
arse.
Just a little medieval fantasy action for you.
Who doesn't like that?
I think
Fools!
we should probably jump into the Arquated. Is that time?
Oh,
Okay.
you're gonna pop a squat with the Arquat.
All right. Arquatted. So this is funny because I did not think that this would come up as it did throughout our conversation tonight. But we did actually sort of circumvent this question in some of the discussion. So my question is, what is your all-time favorite controller that you used in playing games? And
Is this
mouse and
limited to
keyboard
N64 or
out of the-
before, or is this anytime?
I'm willing to open it to anything, but
Okay.
not computer.
Oh,
So no
obviously
PC.
I would pick mouse. And
Right.
Yeah,
No
take it
no
around
mouse and
here.
keyboard, so stick to console. What's your favorite controller?
Golden gods of PC gaming.
I actually, and this, I don't think this one's actually very popular, but I liked the Xbox controller. And
The loaf of bread. That's what I always called it.
I think it goes back to the fact that my hands are gigantic.
And everyone's
and so
complaining. This is too big for me to hold, and you're owning them.
Yeah, everyone seems to really like the PlayStation controller, but I prefer the Xbox controller, which is unfortunate because I tend to enjoy PlayStation games better. But yeah, that's my answer. Is
How come?
The Xbox controller? Why do I like
Because it's too
PlayStation?
big.
Oh yes, yeah.
It made him better at the game because everyone else was fumbling with it.
It felt
while he
right.
was just
Like it just felt normal.
Yeah.
It didn't make my hands hurt, and
yeah.
I didn't. And because I played a lot of video games, still do, obviously, but that wears on your hands pretty quick, even
Yeah.
as a youngin.
Yeah, it does.
If you're
Got to build the blisters up.
if you
calluses.
can't hold it properly, whereas an Xbox just fit perfectly in my hands. So
Yeah, because it's
it
built
was
for
made for me. I was part of the
50-year-olds.
prodding testing. They're like, maybe we got this wrong
I
because
think
this
that is
dude's
probably
hands
a
are
rare,
huge.
rare response.
Who let this giant in here? It's
Gotta-
also
gotta
why no
cater
one
this
ever
guy.
bought Xboxes in Japan.
Yeah.
Small hands.
Maybe I wonder if they made the same controllers for abroad.
I wonder.
They were
yeah,
big.
That's true.
That's why I called it loaf of bread.
I would assume they wouldn't make smaller controllers.
I
That opens you up to like. That's
It's not
terrible.
racism
Hey.
if it's your own people.
Well, actually, like the realm of ergonomics, I don't know too much about it, but like seriously, like safety ergonomics takes into account, like if you're designing something to be built or used by somebody in a specific region of the world, it takes into account like the average and mean, median,
As it
kinda
should. I mean, that makes
everything.
sense that it would.
standard deviation
Yeah.
of the
That's
populace
what you're going for
size.
is comfort
Yeah.
and
Because, I
and
mean, there's a
health.
general lifting range where it works well and you're not prone to injury. So it varies based on average height. Anyways, boring. Remember an NES? Did you ever have the joystick?
Like-
I forgot to mention that earlier during the peripherals. But there was literally an NES joystick that it was like it had 4 suction cups on the bottom. And you can suction cup it to like a table or whatever. And then you literally had a joystick to play,
Like
I don't
a
know,
flight
whatever games in
simulator
NES.
joystick?
well, yeah,
Yeah,
you
it
would
was
play-
literally like a flight simulator to style joystick.
Oh.
So you
You
might
were-
use and
That's how you were ripping up Top Gun.
no, see,
I
that
was
never really
terrible
made
at
much
that
sense. Actually, I think I did use it with that, but there weren't many games where it really worked well.
Speaking of joysticks, do you guys remember how freaking incredible the PC joysticks were
Oh,
in
man.
the mid and late 90s?
Oh yeah,
Chuck Yeager's Air Combat,
my
Crazy.
gosh, those those
jumped
blew
in it.
my mind as a kid.
yeah.
early. Oh god, wow, wow, we got to get into that.
Comanche Maximum Overkill.
I'm thinking of all the X-wing versus Tie Fighter games.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Oh, God.
Rebel Assault, X-wing, Tie Fighter.
so good.
With those joysticks though, there were like 50 buttons on those joysticks. I used 2.
Oh, some of the
I have
advanced
no
ones were
idea what they
crazy.
were doing.
No, one of the
But I
first
liked
ones
it.
I
I
had was
particularly
just
like
literally
when
2
they
buttons.
had mimicking real life that cover over like the top.
Oh,
buttons,
yeah,
so you
oh,
could, like,
yeah.
flick it
between
up and you're like,
missile
bam,
guns.
eat it. You're getting the
close for
missiles,
missiles.
I'm on a
son.
fighter pilot right now.
You're getting missiles tonight.
Adam, go to bed at 7:30.
I'd probably actually go with like the most recent PlayStation controller. It's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I don't own a PlayStation 4, but I own a PlayStation 4 controller for games that I play on the PC.
That's how you do it nowadays.
It's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Doing it right.
So
That's
that would be
good.
my answer,
That's cool.
but I did like the joystick that I forgot to say earlier.
Right. Joystick is fun.
NES joystick. That was one of those simple ones.
Yeah.
Suction cups.
It had suction
It
cups
had
though.
suction
It was going to stay firm. I actually really loved the Xbox One controller. Not
Nice.
Xbox One, Xbox original, right?
Yes.
Not the 2-pie.
Xbox.
Even though I have much smaller hands
Numeral
than
one.
you,
2-pie.
it was I thought it was distributed really evenly to the point where you felt like something solid was in your hand and you had control. At least that's how
Yeah.
I felt.
That's
I think
interesting.
I think it's also because I played KOTOR for the first time
Oh,
on
God.
Xbox One,
Oh,
on the
I
original
played it on
Xbox.
PC.
not
you
Xbox
just
One.
link that to your controller
Right.
experience.
Well, I became so really, really good at the controller because of all the KOTOR I played. So when Halo started coming around, I was ready for action. But I wouldn't say that it's my favorite controller because for some reason, I was thinking about this a long time ago, but it's funny that it popped up again. I loved the Sega Genesis controller. Mostly
3
because
buttons?
the
Blew
3
my mind.
buttons. Mostly because if you guys recall this, it was all about the feel of the buttons. They were like slightly grooved and they were slightly impacted
Yeah,
into the
they were a
controller.
little bit concave.
I loved that. I don't know what it was about that. It just
Your
felt so
thumb
Yeah,
right.
you
just
get
kind
the
of rested nicely.
Yeah,
you get
it was
the
just
reverse
really
of that
nice.
now, which is weird.
You do.
Yeah.
Probably because the buttons are much smaller. But yeah, the Genesis. That's right. It was like almost like a mold of.
It was like
your
a little.
finger.
It was
a
like a little
welcoming-
resting.
welcoming
I loved
feeling.
that, and I thought the addition of 3 buttons made it so intense, and I was good at it because it was. We were like 12, so we were cognitive at that point, and it was so doing codes really fast. A B A C B B B A B A C B B B A B A C
Faster
B
than you
B
can
B.
Stroke.
And that's where the piano was coming into play too. So my thumbs were just dynamite.
You had that advantage.
But I don't know. I just really remember holding the Sega Genesis controller even when we weren't playing Sega Genesis.
Did you ever argue that though?
What?
Mom, you got to let me play more because
I'll be better at
it
the
makes
piano?
me better at piano.
No, I didn't. I think the argument was like, let me quit piano. And they were like, no, you're going to do it.
If you quit
So,
piano, you
that
get
was-
no more video games.
Probably wasn't worth the get the games thing. Although I'm really glad that they made me play piano until I appreciated it. So thanks, parents. Good job.
And then to take it all the way back to the beginning, the N64 controller, I think, whereas when it first came out, I was kind of frustrated with it. I think I really only have fond memories of it because there were so many fun games on it, and I just
worked
got
well.
used to it. So
And it was
Yeah.
the first time there was a joystick on the controller, and that opened up a lot of possibilities.
yeah,
Yeah.
It felt like for Star Fox, it felt felt good for controlling their ship, and
Yeah.
GoldenEye, it was good for aiming, and it just felt right.
yeah.
You could really snap it.
I think it was
Snap
good
it like
because
it's
it was
hot.
the first. Was that the first console that made like a little thumbstick
I feel like
in
it
addition
was.
to the D-pad?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know that the PlayStation 2 had the stick,
Right, but that was
and then they
after.
added like the double DualShock
Yeah.
sticks. But
That
I
was
think that
a
was
few
after.
years after
I
the
remember.
64.
I just had a memory
Innovative.
of my gaming group in junior high when the N64 came out, and one of them was convinced that the reason they had the inverted joystick option in the settings was because you're supposed to hold it upside down too. We had a long conversation about that.
You could hit the bumpers with your legs at that point.
Yeah,
So did he
that-
really
I-
play all the games with the?
That's how
controller
it
upside
started,
down?
and then we're like, "What? You're doing it wrong, man."
That's awesome.
See, that makes me wonder, though. It's like the toilet, right?
Oh.
Like you're supposed to sit facing the tub, so you can rest your stuff on the back
And use it
on
like
the
a little
tank,
table,
right? It's a little table.
Rest your
for all those things. that you
Isn't
like.
that the right way?
You can
God.
set
Because
your
someone
comic
told me
book
the
on
other day
back.
that you're supposed to face
Oh,
out,
God.
and I was just like, why would that ever be the case?
just hugging that cold porcelain.
Resting your milk up there and your magazine.
I like that everyone
My
listening.
iPad playing Hearthstone.
What is
You
he
get what I'm
talking
saying,
about?
listeners. You face the tank. You got a table.
Oh my god.
Try it.
That is, I mean,
Don't
I'm-
knock it till you try it. I guess I think I've never tried that.
I think if you
Good to
built
know.
a custom toilet that had the seat arranged so that you wouldn't
That you had a
be
little shelf in
full
front
up
of you?
straddling, that might actually be a preferred method.
This makes me think.
I have to admit, this is South Park definitely had an episode about this, which is probably why I'm thinking about it. But
Just makes me
it's
think of
hilarious.
Idiocracy, where he's sitting on the chair, and then it turns out that there's a toilet
Yeah.
built into the chair.
Or Home Improvement with Tim Allen, where he makes a super toilet on one of his shows one time, and it's just a lazy boy with everything you could
Yeah.
ever want right next to you.
The Arquad had turned into fancy toilets.
Oh man.
Seriously, face the tank and rest your stuff there.
There it is.
Hearthstone.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening. That was episode 9 of Rough Around the Edges. Check us out on roughneckgames.com and check out our YouTube channel, which is linked from our website. Thank you very much for listening.
See ya.
Bye.
Adios.